A woman sits in her home in Los Angeles. She's 34 years old, and she's desperate. For years, she's carried a burden nobody understands. A burden she can't escape. Every day of her life, since age 14, replays constantly in her mind. Every conversation, every emotion, every moment, good and bad, happy and tragic. Nothing fades, nothing disappears. She can't move forward because the past won't release her. So she does something brave. She emails a scientist, a neurologist at UC Irvine, and she writes 4 words that will change medical history. I need your help. This is the story of Jill Price, the first person ever diagnosed with hyperthymesia, a condition so rare that only about 100 people worldwide have it. A condition that sounds like a superpower, perfect memory, total recall, but it's not a gift. It's a curse, a prison, a nightmare that never ends. Jill Price can't forget, and it's destroying her life. Jill was born in 1965 in Southern California. Her childhood seemed normal, until it wasn't. She was 8 years old when her family moved houses, from one home to another. A simple relocation. Kids move all the time. Most adjust. Most forget the old house eventually. But Jill couldn't. The move felt catastrophic, unbearable, like losing part of herself. She became obsessed with her old home, with the past, with preserving every memory. Because if she forgot, she feared she would lose herself completely. That's when the memories became permanent, unbreakable, fixed. From age 8 onward, Jill remembered everything. But the real curse started at 14. February 5th, 1980. A Tuesday. That's when Jill's memory became absolute, complete, unforgettable. From that day forward, she remembered every single day of her life. Every single day. Not vaguely, not generally. With perfect clarity, perfect detail, perfect emotional intensity. Her memory works like this. Give her any day from February 1980 onward. She can tell you instantly what day of the week it was, what she did that day, what she wore, what she ate, who she talked to, how she felt, major world events that happened. Not because she studied, not because she prepared, but because she can't forget. The memories play constantly, like a movie, like a split screen in her mind. While she's talking to you, she's also watching her past. Multiple days, multiple years, playing simultaneously. Without her permission, Jill tried to live normally. She got a job. She worked as a school administrator, but she struggled constantly. Conversations were exhausting. Social interactions drained her, because while talking to someone, she was also remembering every previous conversation, every past meeting, every detail from years ago. Her mind couldn't stay present. It kept pulling her backward, into memories, into the past, into moments she desperately wanted to escape. The emotional toll was devastating. Most people forget painful moments. Time dulls the edges. The hurt fades. The embarrassment lessens. Not for Jill. A humiliating moment from 20 years ago felt as fresh as yesterday. The death of her husband felt as raw as the day it happened. Breakups, losses, failures, regrets, all preserved perfectly, all emotionally vivid, all constantly replaying. She couldn't move on, couldn't heal, couldn't forget. By the year 2000, Jill was 34 and drowning. The memories were overwhelming, exhausting, relentless. She couldn't sleep, couldn't rest, couldn't find peace. Even at night, the memories played. Dreams mixed with recollections, past and present blurred. She was losing her grip, losing her sanity, losing herself. So she searched online for answers, for help, for someone who might understand. She found Dr. James McGaw, a neurobiologist at UC Irvine, an expert in memory. In June 2000, she sent him an email. She described her condition, her constant remembering, her inability to forget. She begged for help. McGaw was intrigued, but skeptical. People often claimed unusual memories. Memory champions existed, savants with incredible recall, but they used techniques, strategies, training. Jill claimed something different. Automatic, involuntary, unstoppable. McGaw invited Jill to his lab. He tested her extensively. He gave her random dates from her life. She provided the day of the week instantly, described her activities perfectly, recalled public events accurately. He asked her to list every Easter since 1980. She wrote out the list in 10 minutes. Complete, accurate, verified against her personal journals. McGaw was astounded. This wasn't learned, wasn't trained, wasn't voluntary. This was something new, something unprecedented, something that shouldn't exist. He gave her standardized memory tests for meaningful information, for meaningless data, for visual recall, for verbal recall. She performed well, sometimes perfectly, but not extraordinarily. Her general memory was good, not superhuman. Her gift was specific, autobiographical, personal. She could remember her life, but she couldn't memorize random facts better than anyone else. She wasn't a savant. She wasn't a genius. She was a woman who couldn't forget her own past. McGaw studied her brain, MRI scans, brain imaging, neurological examinations. Some regions looked different, slightly larger, more connected. The caudate nucleus showed unusual activity. This brain area relates to habit, to automatic processes, to obsessive-compulsive patterns. Jill's brain had similarities to OCD patients. Not identical, but related. Her memory wasn't just strong. It was compulsive, automatic, involuntary. Like an obsession she couldn't control. In 2006, McGaw published his findings in the journal Neurocase. He called her AJ to protect her privacy. He described her condition as hyperthymesia, from Greek, hyper meaning excessive, thymesis meaning remembering, excessive remembering. The paper shocked the scientific world. This shouldn't be possible. Human memory doesn't work this way. We're designed to forget, to filter, to prioritize. Forgetting is protective, essential, healthy. Jill lacked this protection, this filter, this mercy. The publication changed everything. Other people came forward, claiming similar abilities. McGaw tested them. Some were real, most weren't. By 2010, he had identified about a dozen genuine cases. By 2025, over 100 people worldwide, all with the same condition, all suffering similarly, all unable to forget. The condition was renamed HSAM, highly superior autobiographical memory, more clinical, less dramatic, but equally devastating. One of those people was Marilu Henner, an actress, best known for the TV show Taxi. She had always known her memory was unusual. Since age 6, her family called her Little Miss Memory, the memory kid, UNIVAC. Like an old computer, they would ask her about dates, about events. She always knew, always remembered. She thought everyone was like this, until she learned about Jill Price. In 2010, Marilu appeared on 60 Minutes, a CBS news program. They featured people with HSAM, memory wizards. The show tested Marilu live. Give her any date from her life. She provided the day of the week, her activities, major events, instantly, accurately, perfectly. She remembered getting the taxi role. June 4th, 1978, a Sunday, at the Grease premiere party. She remembered her first rehearsal. July 5th, 1978, a Wednesday. Every detail preserved, every moment accessible. But Marilu's experience differed from Jill's. Crucially, Marilu enjoyed her memory. She found it useful, enriching, empowering. She used it in acting, to build characters, to access emotions, to relive experiences. She wrote books about memory, about health, about using her gift. She became famous for remembering, not imprisoned by it. She saw her condition as a blessing, not a curse. Why the difference? Researchers noticed patterns. People with HSAM fell into two categories: those who suffered and those who thrived. The difference was psychological, emotional. Jill Price was trapped in her past, obsessed with preservation, terrified of change. Every memory carried emotional weight, pain, loss, regret. She couldn't let go, couldn't move forward. The memories imprisoned her. Marilu Henner was different. She viewed memories as resources, as tools, as treasures. She lost her parents young, in their 50s. Her perfect memory preserved them, kept them alive in her mind. She could revisit happy moments, relive good times, access joy whenever she wanted. Yes, she remembered pain too, but the good memories cushioned the bad, balanced them, made them bearable. The neuroscience reveals something profound. HSAM isn't about stronger memory. It's about broken forgetting. Normal brains delete, filter, discard, constantly. This isn't weakness. It's design, essential design. The brain cannot store everything, shouldn't store everything. Forgetting protects us from overload, from trauma, for meaningless details. HSAM brains lack this protection. The deletion mechanism fails. Everything stays. Everything persists. Everything remains vivid. Jill Price kept detailed journals since 1976, documenting her life, day by day, page by page. But she hated reading them, hated looking back, because she didn't need to. She already remembered everything. The journals existed as external verification, proof that her memories were real, accurate, not imagined. But they also trapped her, made the past concrete, permanent, inescapable. Other HSCM individuals showed similar behaviors. Aurelian Heyman, a Welsh student, covered his bedroom walls with photographs. Every moment documented, every memory preserved externally. He called photos concrete memories, objects that exist outside the mind. Bob Petrella, a comedian and TV producer, created something called B.O.B., the Book of Bob, a scrapbook of his entire life, written retrospectively, for memory, all accurate, all detailed, all obsessive. This pattern reveals something important. HSAM individuals externalize memories. They create physical archives, not because they need them, but because they need control. Visual organization, concrete proof. Their internal memories feel overwhelming, chaotic, uncontrollable. External archives provide structure, order, a sense of management, even if illusory. The challenges of HSAM are numerous. Sleep disturbances. The memories don't stop at night. Dreams mix with recollections. Past and present merge. Rest becomes impossible. Mental exhaustion. The constant replay drains energy, taxes concentration, makes present engagement difficult. Emotional burden. Trauma never fades. Pain never dulls. Every negative memory remains fresh, raw, vivid. Social difficulties. HSAM individuals remember every conversation, every interaction, every detail of relationships. This creates problems. They remember slights others forgot, hold grudges others released, reference moments others don't recall. It makes relationships exhausting, complicated, often impossible. Decision paralysis. Too many memories flood every choice. Every decision triggers recalls of past decisions, past outcomes, past consequences. The weight of history crushes present action, inability to move forward. This is Jill Price's biggest struggle. She can't progress, can't grow, can't change, because the past is too present, too vivid, too real. Moving forward means leaving the past behind, but she can't leave it. It follows her, occupies her, defines her. She's stuck, trapped, imprisoned in her own history. Jill eventually revealed her identity. In 2008, she co-wrote a book, The Woman Who Can't Forget, explaining her condition, sharing her struggles, seeking understanding. The book was honest, painful, raw. It described the horror of perfect memory, the curse of total recall, the nightmare of never forgetting. Critics praised it, readers sympathized, but few truly understood. Because we romanticize memory, we fear forgetting. We take photos, keep journals, create backups. We think remembering more would be better. Jill Price proves otherwise. She shows that forgetting is a gift, a blessing, a necessary function. Without forgetting, we drown. In memories, in past, in what was instead of what is. Research continues at UC Irvine. Dr. McGaw's lab studies HSAM extensively. They're searching for genetic markers, for brain differences, for treatments, not to enhance memory, but to restore forgetting, to give people like Jill the gift everyone else has, the gift of letting go, of moving on, of forgetting. Some researchers believe HSAM relates to time-space synesthesia, a condition where people visualize time spatially, see calendars in their minds, see days laid out visually. This might explain the date recall, the ability to know instantly what day February 17th, 1992 was, the visual organization, the automatic access. But it doesn't explain the emotional preservation, the vivid reliving, the inability to forget feelings. Others point to the brain's default mode network, the system active when we're not focused, when our mind wanders, when we daydream. In HSAM individuals, this network may be hyperactive, constantly pulling attention backward, toward memories, toward past, preventing present engagement, creating the split-screen effect Jill describes, where past and present exist simultaneously. The condition raises philosophical questions about identity, about self, about consciousness. If you remember everything you've ever done, who are you? The person who did those things? Or the person remembering them? Are you living? Or just replaying? Jill Price struggled with this. She felt more like a recorder than a person, more like an archive than a human. Her memories defined her, consumed her, replaced her. Jill's husband died in 2005 from a stroke, March 25th, a Friday. She relives it constantly. The call, the hospital, the moment he died. Every detail, every emotion, every second. 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, it's still fresh, still raw, still happening. This is what HSEM means. Not remembering the past, but living in it, forever. Today, Jill lives quietly, with her parents. She works occasionally, manages her condition, avoids triggers when possible. She knows her memories are both gift and curse. Mostly curse, but she's learned to coexist with them, to function despite them, to survive. She'll never be free, never forget, never escape, but she's still here, still fighting, still hoping that someday, somehow, science will find a way to let her forget, to let her go, to let her finally, mercifully move on. The woman who can't forget. Jill Price, patient AJ, the first diagnosed case of hyperthymesia. She taught science that forgetting is essential, that memory is not just storage, but selection, that the health of mind depends on deletion, on release, on letting go. Most people worry about forgetting, about losing memories, about their past slipping away. Jill Price reminds us that maybe, just maybe, forgetting is the greatest gift we have, the thing that lets us live, lets us grow, lets us be present, lets us be human. Without forgetting, we're not enhanced. We're trapped, imprisoned in our own history, unable to escape, unable to forget, unable to be free.